Hey everyone, my name's Ad, currently Fat Lad Ad, but hopefully for not too much longer because I'm on a quest to become Fit Lad Ad, and I'm doing that quest by way of a calorie controlled diet, which at the moment mostly consists of meal replacement shakes from MyProtein, as well as trying to incorporate some exercise, which includes running as I try and complete my beginner running program called None to Run, as well as some cycling using Zwift to try and up my cycling miles ready for spring and summer of cycling out on the road. And I'm using an app called NutriCheck to track every calorie I consume and every calorie I burn through exercise. And it seems to be working because in August 2021 I was 19 stone and 1 pound, and at my last weigh-in, which was last Friday, I was a little under 16 stone and 3 pounds. Coming up in this video, which is my week 2 of season 2 midweek vlog, I'm going to tell you about the week as it was, as well as something pretty special that happened this week. Well, I think it was too, and I can't wait to tell you about it, and basically can't wait to see how it progresses. But before all that though, please take a minute to like the video, and if you're not already, please don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and I can't tell you how motivating it is to see my subscriber number climb, even if it is really slowly. Anyways, let's get stuck into everything that's happened this week. Firstly, sorry for the lack of change of scenery in my videos this week. It was not my intention to film all my videos in my office this week, and I did intend to try and get out one of these days to film one of the anchor sections of one of my videos outside somewhere. I don't know, anywhere really. But it's just been such a busy week, as I'm going to tell you about in a minute, and just never really had the opportunity to get out in daylight to basically do any filming. So unfortunately, we're stuck in this blue room for now. So this has been a bit of a week of two halves. I'm certainly not proud of how the week started, but I am quite pleased with how it's been going more recently. Oh, we've got a cameo appearance from the parrot. She's decided she's bored of sitting on a tree and she's now going to come and sit with us, which is nice, isn't it? Hello, are you going to say hello to the people at home? Are you going to say hello? No? About wolf whistle. You going to wolf whistle? No, she's not in the mood. So starting off with Friday then, which as I mentioned in my results show last week, I kind of had 2 celebration meals instead of the usual one. So it was my last weekday day off of my leave for the Christmas period, and we decided to have a McDonald's breakfast, which, you know, obviously was nice at the time, but I regretted it almost immediately. We did have protein shakes for lunch, but then we also had our normal celebration dinner, which in this case was a visit to our local chip shop, and I also had a couple of slices of bread with that, which obviously didn't help either. Saturday started okay. We had protein shakes for breakfast and lunch, and then the amazing thing happened. And well, as I say, I think it's amazing. Let's take a look and you can tell me what you think in the comments. Unbelievably, I'm out for a run. My hip is feeling a little stiff, but I think it's just in anticipation of the fact I'm out for a run. But there's something different about today's run. Well, one thing is I'm going back to week 1 of None to Run. That's not because I'm worried about my hip, but because I've got a partner on today's run. Yes, she doesn't want to be on camera, but my wife is starting None to Run from the beginning. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to come along with her and to test out the hip on the starter run. But it has to be said, after that, we caved and had a pizza for tea. It wasn't a great day. Just as a bit of an update, our cat is still missing. starting to obviously fear the worst now, and it was starting to hit home on Saturday, and yeah, neither of us could really face the prospect of cooking or anything like that. So it's not great, but it is what it is. And I still enjoyed my pizza. Whether it made me feel better about the cat is debatable. Sunday went really well, probably one of my best days, maybe with the exception of yesterday. And I started with protein shakes for both breakfast and lunch, and I also managed to get myself on my bike and do a Zwift session. So I'll bring up the Zwift end screen now, and so you can see how much I managed to do that day. Monday was my first day at my new stroke old job. I say that because whilst it was a new job, it was for an old company that I used to work for, and I used to work for them for quite a while, 12 years in fact. I've actually only been gone for about 2 years. It was basically like slipping back into a comfortable pair of slippers, in that everybody knows me already, and it wasn't like any other new starting in the job in that you kind of twiddling your thumbs a little bit, struggling to find your place and find your workload. I've already been piled with plenty of work to do. It's going to be very busy for the first couple of months at least in my new job, which is good in some respects, but maybe not quite so good for the channel. Anyway, during my day at work, and actually more during my wife's day at work, colleagues were talking about the new McPlant burger from McDonald's, and to be honest, we decided to try it at the end of the day. Well, I did anyway. My wife decided she would stick to a normal burger, although she did have a nibble of my McPlant, if that's not a euphemism. Yeah, here's my brief review of it. I liked it. It was pretty good. And it seems like a good option for eating at McDonald's when perhaps, I wouldn't say you've got no other choice, but when you're in a group and everybody wants to go to McDonald's, or you're late at night and it's the only thing open. I don't know, but that seems like a good option. Whilst I have no intention of becoming a vegetarian, I do feel like I might look into reducing my meat intake in the not too distant future. And also, for the meat I do eat, I'm going to try and make sure I get from ethical sources. Now, I'm not saying for 1 minute that McDonald's don't get their meat from ethical sources. I simply just don't know. But I would like to do my research into that subject and make choices that mean that the meat I'm getting is from ethical sources. And where that's not possible, for example, somewhere like McDonald's, if that's the case, as I say, I don't know, then the McPlant burger would be a decent option. Tuesday, though, was when things started to turn around for me, and was the beginning of the rest of the week. Not the rest of my life, but the rest of the week at least. And we had our shopping delivered from Sainsbury's, so it meant we had a good choice of evening meals to do. And so from that point on, it was shakes all the way for breakfast and lunch, and a sensible evening meal, and has been, it's now Thursday evening, and it has been that case, that way so far this week. Nikki and I also did another one of our runs, and whilst it's not the most intense of activities for me, I really enjoy going with her, and I'm really proud of her for taking the first difficult step to actually start exercising. So I want to encourage her to keep going, and for as long as she'll let me, I'm going to go with her. But because it wasn't the most intense exercise, late that evening I decided to do another Zwift session. So I'll bring up the end screen for you now, just again to see, so you can see how much I did. Not much to say about Wednesday other than it was on plan, but there was no real exercise. But I did stick to plan, and we did have a sensible evening meal. Which brings me to Thursday, and that is actually today as I'm filming it. And again, Thursday was very much on plan in terms of food. Shake for breakfast, shake for lunch, a snack in the afternoon as I usually normally do, and then a sensible evening meal. It should have also been another run for Nikki and I today, but Nikki wasn't feeling quite so well, so I decided to go on my own. And what I did was I basically picked a week in the middle of the non-to-run program to essentially start again. And that week I picked was week 5, which is basically where if you remember from previous videos, that's basically where I started on the non-to-run program. Man, it's cold. Man, it's icy. I'm probably going to fall over today. but I'm out for a run. Well, that's a week 5 run done, and other than a bit of ice skating where the sun hasn't managed to melt the ice, it was pretty easy. I'm just on my cool down, and yeah, all good really. I'll tell you in the studio bits why I'm doing a week 5 run, and it'll all become clear. Just wanted to show you these. These are laces that my wife bought me now she's started running. They're quick release laces, which just makes getting ready for a run and coming back just that little bit quicker. And actually they're quite comfortable. I'm able to get them quite tight and still free up my toes. Honestly, I found it quite easy. I found it quite easy. So my plan is to basically do one run from each week for every run going forward. So my next run I'll do week 6 run, and basically I will keep going like that until I come across a run that I struggle with, and then I'll start repeating that and maybe go back to the plan as intended. Now, as I said, I don't want to stop running with Nikki, so what I'm going to do is essentially treat the runs with Nikki as a warm-up, because they aren't really very intense for me. So essentially, instead of doing a 5-minute warm-up walk on my own run, I'll do the run with Nikki, do the sort of cool down walk with her, and then by that time I should be ready to do my own run, hopefully. And we'll see how that goes. And that's my plan, to hopefully finish the None to Run program as soon as possible. So that brings us to the end of this video. It's been a pretty routine week for me. It's quite nice to be back in a routine again with work. It sort of makes it a little bit easier to stave off the hunger when you've got plenty of work to do to keep you distracted. So I'm pretty pleased with how things are going so far. As I said, it wasn't a great start to the week. I think I've managed to pull it back a little bit, but only time and tomorrow's weigh-in will tell. So please join me for the results show, which should go live on Saturday, and I will update you on everything in terms of my goals and my calories and my weight ultimately. For now though, why not watch one of my other videos, maybe the one that YouTube is recommending in the panel below, and maybe go ahead and catch up on the entirety of season 1 using the link to the playlist on the panel also below. Also, feel free to drop me a comment and let me know how your journey has gone this week, and if you've lost weight, if you haven't lost weight, if you're starting a weight loss journey or thinking about starting a weight loss journey, let me know in the comments. But that's all from me, and I will see you in Saturday's results show.